We've made it. Batman and Robin, one of the most notorious films for just being terrible. I've never seen it till I watched it for this video, and now that I have, I must say I am a changed man. I have never been so confused, tired, hungry, depressed, exhilarated, and mentally exhausted all at the same time. I think after Batman Forever, I was so disappointed in this franchise that I thought it couldn't go downhill. But this movie is so weird, I truly didn't even know what to think about it when the movie finished. This is one of those movies that truly felt like an out-of-body experience. You know when you finish a movie that was so good you just sit there speechless? Let me name some off. When you finish Inception, Blade Runner 2049, Memento, The Empire Strikes Back, Avengers Endgame, and add Batman and Robin to that list because I truly didn't say nothing for a solid 3 minutes after I watched it, sat there, stood up, and said out loud, "What did I just watch?" So let's get this show on the road. So instantly starting out, we get these bat nipples. Come on, guys. I know you've heard it before, but man, you got the bat nipples here, the bat butt, the bat belt, and also every shot of Batman you get with Punky Robin as well. Yeah! Then we get the first line of the movie, a great way to establish a film's tone, and
chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone.
Ah, chicks dig the car. That's the boy wonder I know and love. Chicks dig the car. Who wrote this? Let me see. Okay. Alright, so it looks like it's the guy who wrote A Beautiful Mind. Wait, this man wrote that, but also wrote Batman Forever and Batman and Robin and the story for Transformers Last Night. See, guys, it all comes together. I told you.
Alright, I'm gonna go slather myself in oil. Turn your back, Drift, if it offends your sensibility.
No, that is something you can't unsee.
And I love how this writer instantly shows us that Batman is not going to care for the rest of the movie, and he's just going to be this sad husk of Batman for the rest of the movie.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
At least George Clooney here is being honest on how he's acting and what type of Batman we're getting, where he's just going to be monotone the whole time. And then we get to go and meet Mr. Freeze. And guys, this isn't a movie at this point. I'm pretty sure this is just a recording of some Batman on Ice show. At this moment, I thought this is just one bad trip, and I had no clue, though, what was going on here. We get blurted exposition, and then you just watch this scene.
You are not sending me to the corner.
And then Mr. Freeze is making ice puns.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
And then Batman and Robin pull out ice skates because you know that that is an essential item for the Batsuit. What Batsuit doesn't come with ice skates? Seriously, in The Dark Knight Returns, Batman could have just skated away from Gotham on the ice if he wanted to. Then it keeps going and leads to Batman following Mr. Freeze on a rocket ship, and then for Mr. Freeze to turn into this monstrosity, and then for Batman and Robin to air surf after him on doors. This is the only thing that I remember clearly about this movie. I'm not joking. I took notes, and most of this stuff is just from the first few scenes because I think I was hypnotized. Now, all joking aside, this is like Batman Forever, where the best part of this movie is in the first third, because my issues with the last one is gone kind of because instead of being a mix between Tim Burton Batman and campy Batman, they decided to go full campy here. And you know what? Good for them. It makes it more enjoyable for me to watch. The first third is just so fun and ridiculous that I actually liked it. And then it gets so boring.
This is... What? This is boring. Delete.
Seriously, after this first third, I can barely tell you what happens. I honestly don't know what the plot really was and what the goals were for anyone other than Mr. Freeze. Now let's talk about Mr. Freeze. He's amazing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Seriously, he's the best part of this movie. Whenever he was in the movie, I had life. I mean, his puns are on point. That's an icicle joke. Pun is included. That's it. Video's over, let's wrap it up. But to be honest, Arnold is just the wrong call for Mr. Freeze. But compared to the rest of this movie, I think my brain activates because I know something ridiculous will happen when he is on screen.
Come on, sing! Louder, come on, sing! Come on!
And I know that something will make me laugh, so honestly, whenever he was on screen, that was when I was enjoying the movie the most. And I wish everyone else acted more like him, because everyone else is acting like this movie is kind of serious, and then you have Arnold doing such a goofy and weird performance. I just think it's great, because it brings me out of my coma that the rest of these boring characters put me in. Most of these performances just feel off. George Clooney as Batman is bad, because he just doesn't feel like Batman at all. And I know it's subjective of, it makes me feel like Batman. But George Clooney here just feels completely off, and in that he's just cosplaying and just stands there and he does not feel like Batman at all. I like George Clooney as an actor. He's the wrong call for Batman. Poison Ivy is just weird, and I didn't like it. She's so way over the top, but she's not fun. She's just boring instead of like Arnold, where he's just hilarious. You also have Robin, who's... I hate Robin! He is so annoying. I thought he would get better, but no, he's just worse and worse, and Alfred, though, is good here. I mean, seriously, he is good and he is trying. He gets the most emotional story, even if it's stupid, and he gets the most to do here in any of the movies. He is pretty great, along with Bane. Although I have to say, Bane is barely in the movie, but when stuff like this happens, it brings me to life. Seriously, why is he a taxi driver? Why is he in a taxi driver suit? And I think he just acts kind of like the Bane from the Harley Quinn show.
I got a razzie zazzy for Bang.
It's Bane. You know it's Bane. I'm here every day, Todd.
And I'm all for that. That said, though, he's not a character. He's just a dumb buff guy, so if you love the smart, menacing Tom Hardy Bane, you're gonna hate this one. Next up is Batgirl. Spoilers, I'm sorry. I meant Alfred's niece who went to Oxford or whatever and doesn't have a British accent, who likes to ride a motorcycle and be with the boys, but also is the only one to take care of poor sick Alfred, even though Bruce Wayne already knew, and just let Alfred be sick. Wait, even if he was sick, why is Bruce Wayne still making him work? Can't he get like the rest of his days off? I mean, he's gonna die. Are we really... Why couldn't... Bruce, you're a terrible person. The more I think about it, the more confused I get. Did he seriously think I'm just gonna make Alfred work till he drops? Like, oh my goodness. Still, back to Batgirl. She's not that good. She's fine. She just becomes Batgirl because computer Alfred tells her to become it, even though that won't matter because they're not going to kill off Alfred. They'd never kill Alfred. Moving on. So, though I just think that many of these characters are boring, if outlandish and dumb, you have a problem in a Batman movie when you know that your best characters are Mr. Freeze and Alfred. You mixed up the main priorities in a movie called Batman and Robin when its best parts is when Alfred or Mr. Freeze are on the screen. And when it's anybody else, it's just so boring. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you anything that happened. I think my brain realized how dangerous it was to watch something so dumb and so boring, so my brain just went into a coma so I wouldn't have to remember anything.
I didn't know what I was putting into my body.
So, this is gonna be fun. Let me try to explain the narrative. So, Batman and Robin need to stop Mr. Freeze because he wants to make people cold or for him to get crystals. I don't remember. They beat him up. Then Bane is made by this mad scientist and Poison Ivy are made as well. And then they just start committing crimes because they can, because of plants or whatever. Anyway, then they break Arnold out of jail. Then Robin and Batgirl race and then lose. And then Alfred's about to die when Robin and Batman, like, bet for Poison Ivy. Like, it's a whole auction scene. Guys, I'm trying my best. Okay, and then Poison Ivy decides to call Robin for some reason. Who knows? And he goes out with her only to go make out with her. That's, like, the only reason he goes. And then he makes out with her and then, like, pulls off rubber lips or something so he doesn't get tranced. And then he gives her a big ol' smackaroo and then drops a pipe on her. I don't even remember what happened to Bane. I think he went small at the end. And then Mr. Freeze uses a telescope to make a Gotham chili. And then the same telescope ends up melting everything away and the movie ends. Was I even close? This movie's just so unrememberable. And that said, though, I think I liked it more, though, than Batman Forever because it didn't make me as angry. I just get tired when I think of this movie. When I think of Batman Forever, I get a raging headache. Yeah, I'll pick this one over that one any day of the week. That said, though, on a technical level, this is not a good movie. The fact that I can barely remember the plot and it's been like a day since I've watched it is a huge problem. The characters are all basically flat and the pace is terrible because the only interesting things happen in the first third. It absolutely runs out of steam so quickly. Like, you guys just heard me try to describe it. I barely remember anything about this movie. That said, though, the campiness and stupidity actually saves this movie from just being the worst thing ever because it's so dumb, it isn't that agonizing. This isn't one of those movies where it's so boring that you feel like you're gonna turn into dust and blow away. This movie's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It is absolutely insane, and it's so dumb that your brain just kind of turns off and then you wake up 2 hours later like, what just happened? Where am I? Now, I don't think I would rewatch this on my own time, but if friends put it on, I don't think I'd be that opposed. This is the perfect movie to just throw on when you're doing something else and it's 2 a.m. and your veins are fueled with monster energy. That way you feel like Bane. Overall, I'm going to say that Batman and Robin is bad, but not as bad as Batman Forever, and honestly, I'd rewatch that first third again. There we go. We've reviewed all of the solo Batman movies that aren't related to a TV show, not in a team movie. No! Martha! Don't know! Martha, leave me alone! I want to be over! I can't! No!